I think the amount of pride that people feel in being Puerto Rican, you notice from the second that you arrive here.
Before the hurricane, we were living a normal life. Normal like everybody else in the world, had water service, electricity, supermarkets were fully packed, and you were able to get around and travel around the island, get together with your family and everything. So I can say it was a pretty normal, peaceful Caribbean life.
Mi nombre es Nicolo Yola, soy copropietaria de Bonnie & Coli. Tengo la tienda con mi hermana hace 7 años aquí en la calle Loíza, pero llevamos con la tienda hace 13 años ya.
Mi nombre es Iraida Pagán, vengo de San Juan, Puerto Rico y vivo en el mismo lugar siempre, en San Juan. Mi nombre es Verónica Ocasio, también de San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Growing up, I remember having hurricanes. Yeah, it would just be like something that would happen in one day. We would get like some time off school, but we would get back to life pretty quick.
Así que la semana anterior al huracán María ya habíamos tenido el huracán Irma, así que ya nosotros estábamos sin luz eléctrica desde el 5 de septiembre. Eso fue un viernes y nos enteramos ese viernes que el lunes venía un huracán.
Usually in Puerto Rico, we have an excellent weather service. So hurricanes or storms don't come by surprise. So for a couple of weeks, we were watching how fast it was growing and strong.
Entonces nos tuvimos que ir para entonces prepararnos porque las noticias habían dicho que el huracán iba a ser desastroso. Iba a ser categoría 5 y que iba a destruir la isla entera.
A week or a little bit more, we were warned that it was going to be the hurricane of our lives, that we had to get prepared, not only because we won't be able to have power or we won't be able to go to the supermarket. We were supposed to prepare to save our lives. So it was the first time in our lives that we had to encounter such a humongous hurricane that was threatening us. There is this weatherman in Miami, which is called John Morales. So the whole island stopped at 5 o'clock listening to him.
Hola, buenas tardes en Puerto Rico. John Tui Morales les habla aquí desde la conferencia del National Weather Association aquí en California. Puerto Rico no ha visto un ciclón como este en nuestras vidas. Quiero que se preparen mentalmente para eso, para que sean fuertes y para que apoyen a sus familiares y apoyen a todos los que estén a su alrededor. ¿Sabes? Yo veo muchos mensajes, bueno, Puerto Rico está bendecido, estas cosas nunca pasan, siempre se desvía. Mira, a lo mejor se desvía al último minuto y todos podemos celebrar. Pero como dice un colega mío muy famoso aquí en Estados Unidos, porque en inglés ayudó al público durante el huracán Andrew, a veces lo peor sí ocurre. A veces lo peor, el peor de los casos, sí pasa.
I think you're right. I still get the chills when she was talking. John Morales, that was the one that impacted me the most. He said, you know, once you see something as strong as this, you'll never forget. He was right. He was right.
My name is Mariela. I'm from here from Puerto Rico. I'm actually not from here, from Viejo San Juan. I'm from Arecibo. It's like the north place part of Puerto Rico. But here, Sonia is just a little food place that opens mainly on Sundays, basically. And what we're doing right now is we're painting this cart, which is gonna be like a little food cart eventually this year. It's from a friend of ours that she actually lives, here. She's from these parts, so yeah, we're helping her with that project. Yes, I was here. It was really bad. It was like my first experience with like a really big hurricane, and honestly, it was a really intense experience. We didn't have energy for a long time. Food, water was like, people were like writing on the streets, on the actual concrete, like help me, like very big, because they didn't really have a lot of sources, like for water and stuff like that. And it was a really intense year.
Bueno, mi nombre es Apolinario, estoy en Puerto Rico hace 11 años. Esta área más o menos llevó como 5 o 6 años. Pero el huracán María sí nos arropó completo a toda la isla. Nunca había visto un huracán así en forma presencial. Siempre veía por televisión, por las noticias. Así que pero fue una experiencia muy fea porque una vez que terminó todo el episodio era un caos total.
During that time, one of the most heartbreaking, I can say, things was talking to our family members outside Puerto Rico, especially our daughter that was in New York.
So my experience of that day was I was aware, obviously through social media and watching the news, I was aware of what was going on. Thank God that for us, we had reception most of the time, but I know a lot of families did not have that privilege. And then at one point, it just cut off. And it was very heartbreaking for a lot of us who had family members here and lived outside because I could see through Facebook so many people asking for help, like, hey, my windows are shattering, debris coming in, I don't know what to do, someone please, I'm on the roof of my house, the flood's just reaching my roof, I don't know what to do. And it was so heartbreaking, and like, I've never felt so helpless being abroad, like what could I do at that moment, right?
Después de eso, todas las redes de comunicación se tumbaron. O sea, no existía telefonía móvil, celular, internet, nada.
And then the sound of the wind, you will never forget the sound of the wind. And that's true. You never forget the sound of the wind.
Y en mi caso en particular, pues cuando estaba pasando el huracán, yo escuchaba como si fuera una mujer gritando, como si fuera una mujer llorando en agonía. Y para mí eso fue súper impresionante, porque yo he pasado ahí 4 huracanes y nunca había escuchado eso. O sea, era como si la madre naturaleza estuviese de verdad sufriendo. Yo sí lo que sentía era la puerta del apartamento que creía que iba a explotar, porque el movimiento era tan fuerte.
Gracias a Dios aquí no pasó nada de daño, eso nos permitió abrir sin luz, sin agua. Para María se trabajaron unas campañas para que las personas compraran local. Sí nos vimos afectados pues porque el gobierno realmente no nos brindó ningún tipo de ayuda. Aquí como quiera se siguió pagando renta. El presidente aquí, no sé si eso lo saben todos, que vino aquí a tirar. Realmente aquí el presidente no hizo absolutamente nada en su visita, realmente fue burlarse, realmente así fue que lo vimos muchas personas.
So the whole community at first, we were the only ones here. So everybody was cutting trees, leaving their way so people can go from one place to another, helping your neighbor if you had like a lot of meat and it will go bad. You said, but don't you cook, I will cook my meat first, so it will go bad, and they will share.
A nosotros, como no teníamos luz, la nevera no funcionaba, toda la comida que había dentro se dañó, no teníamos, y lo que hacíamos era que todos los días desayunábamos, almorzábamos y comíamos afuera de la casa.
Before the government could do anything, but whatever it did, and the U.S. FEMA that came along, we were the first ones. The community got together.
De las comunidades se tuvieron que ayudar porque nadie nos ayudaba. O sea, en el sentido de que como somos parte de Estados Unidos, pues esperaban que Estados Unidos tuviera una respuesta más rápida. Plaza Las Américas de shopping fue el primero que recibió luz eléctrica y nosotros vivimos a 5 minutos de Plaza. Y entonces tú tenías un centro comercial con luz eléctrica y la gente que los rodea sin luz eléctrica, sin agua y muriéndose de hambre. Entonces para mí eso no hacía sentido. Al otro día de que salimos del huracán, nos fuimos a los otros edificios, a los otros condominios alrededor de nosotros y eso estaba todo destruido, las ventanas en el piso. En el caso mío, una amiga mía me envió comida por correo. Y la alcaldesa de San Juan empezó un programa también de enviar comida a las casas. En el caso de nosotros, no, que también era algo horrible, porque ellos lo que hacían era que te preparaban una caja dependiendo de las personas que vivían en la casa. Entonces te preparaban una caja, pero tenías que tener luz, porque era comida para cocinar. So, al final del día, pues no, o para calentar también. Sí. Pero no teníamos luz, no podíamos calentar. Exacto.
Well, most of them are from the movement. We had a very big huelga, you know, because our government is not the best. But basically they're just expressing, you know, our emotions towards, you know, the government and what's happening here in Puerto Rico. But you know, we came back stronger, and in part of the big huelga that, you know, happened, that's why the murals, is because a lot of people died because of that and because of the government, and they were really helping a lot of people here when they could. It was a really, really big thing, so yeah, we're still a little bad about that.
I think the Hurricane Maria experience left some type of a trauma that people want to act as quick as possible. So they would tell me, you know, extreme like lockdowns, certain cars only allowed certain times on the street, and it was all in like preventative mindset because they didn't want there to be such a crisis like there was with the, you know, post Hurricane Maria.
Well, we have not politicized the situation with the COVID. Regarding COVID, we have been pretty much, united as to how to proceed about it.
My name is Emily Goldman. I work as an evaluation and research officer embedded at the Puerto Rico Department of Education. I also work with other government agencies. Puerto Rico was in a very different place going into the pandemic than many other states. Going into the pandemic, Puerto Rico had just had a series of earthquakes in the January before. And prior to that, obviously, Hurricane Maria. So we were going into having school closures because of the pandemic, already having had school closures because of the earthquakes, and having a number of school facilities damaged and not yet repaired after Hurricane Maria. And kind of layered in on top of that is we have a very high child poverty rate in Puerto Rico. Prior to the pandemic, it was around 58%. Because there was prior experience dealing with disasters in Puerto Rico, there was already a strong sense of the need to rely locally on your community to respond. And that we've seen a lot of in terms of COVID response.
Antes de la pandemia, digamos, pasó el huracán, ya habíamos recuperándonos. Y en esta área ocurrió un terremoto en el 2020. Estábamos saliendo de ese terremoto y apareció la pandemia. En cuanto al trabajo, en cuanto a los estudios, pues se fue paralizando todo.
No podías ir a trabajar si no estabas vacunado. O sea, aquí nadie puede trabajar si no está vacunado. Inclusive ahora van creo que a hacer una ley para que todo el mundo haga el refuerzo, ¿cómo se llama? El booster. Yo creo que como somos una cultura hispana, en ese sentido tomamos la salud como algo bien serio. Y entonces yo creo que en ese sentido somos personas más disciplinadas en ese asunto. Aquí mucha gente ha fallecido. Mi tío falleció de COVID. El hermano de mi hermana falleció de COVID.
Hace un año.
Yo creo que eso ha influenciado a que aquí el 99% de las personas se vacunen, porque aquí han fallecido muchas personas, muchos familiares, y como nosotros somos una cultura de familia, de estar juntos, de estar unidos, de ir a visitar amistades, pues yo creo que eso ha influido en que las personas se vacunen. Y entonces A diferencia de Boston, ¿verdad? Que tú vas a Boston y vas a un restaurante y tú entras, no te piden nada. Pero aquí sí. Aquí sí. Yo creo que es un asunto más bien cultural.
Comparatively to other places that I've been during the pandemic, I would say that because there is such a strong social structure, there's been a really strong sense of trying to take care of your community that I haven't felt in other places. Particularly, I mean, you guys, I'm sure have experienced it. Like, people are very cautious in Puerto Rico about COVID. And there's a really strong sense of trying to protect your family, trying to maintain your social relationships while also not putting people at risk, which I've really appreciated. It's really different. I mean, my family's in Connecticut and I feel 100 times safer here, which they can't believe. They're like, are you kidding? But yeah.
La pandemia en esta área, digamos, no fue como que te digo, no había mucho contagio hasta hace poco. Esta última variante, pues sí, atacó a todo el mundo y en esta área fue muy golpeada. Nos afectó bastante el tema del trabajo, más que nada la reunión social.
We are very friendly people, if you're friendly back. But we've always been a very big community people. We help each other as much as we can. We're always smiling, laughing, you know, and partying, that's our big thing. So, but yeah, honestly, Puerto Rico se levanta. That's something we say mainly when that happened, and we're gonna be like a close community, you know, forever. That's just part of who we are in our culture.
La cultura americana no me gusta. O sea, aunque viví muchos años ahí, pero no me gusta la cultura americana. No me acostumbro ya mucho a Puerto Rico. Y me encantan estar en los lugares que hay en Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico es bello, es precioso. Y me hace falta, ¿verdad? Puerto Rico.
El puertorriqueño tiene esa particularidad de ser muy sociable, muy cariñoso, te aceptan como eres.
Me encanta Puerto Rico, la cultura, la gente.
Nature, girl. Like, you know, Puerto Rico, this island is beautiful, and it's like, and it's honestly a blessing to live here. You know, even though we're so small, it's just a very beautiful island. Everybody is happy for that.
If you go to the Placita de Santurce, I don't know if you've been there, you go there, it doesn't matter whose birthday it is. As soon as somebody starts singing happy birthday, the whole place is with you. She's been to pets' birthdays from her friends in high school. I said, Mom, I had to get a birthday gift. That's it. For whose birthday? Which one of your friends? No, it's my friend's dog, you know? So that's how we are. That's how we are.